Bonjour, hello everyone. I'm Nata, host of the Nata PR School podcast. You're a successful entrepreneur or marketing manager and you're about to launch a new product or service, or you've been selling your goods for quite some time, but you want to learn how to increase your visibility, get known, and reach more clients? At Nata PR, we deal with real clients every day and we'll teach you simple, fun, and honest PR solutions. You'll learn easy steps to combine PR to social media right now. Keep listening and let's get started. Bonjour, hello everyone, and welcome to the Nata PR School podcast, episode number 12. Today I will be talking about one of my favorite tactic that I call the ultimate tactic, which is following up. Finding ways to get notice. For those who haven't listened to the previous podcast, you don't need to listen to the 11 podcast before listening to this one. You can really stay with us today. I'm talking about step number 6 in the Nata PR School model. This famous model, 6 steps that we created at the agency for everything we do when we speak to clients. This is how we build our campaigns. We use this model, super easy and simple. You can get it for free, as you probably already know. You can go on our website, natapr.com, and in exchange of your email, you'll receive it for free. So today, let's talk about tactic number 6. The ultimate tactic that I love so much. So you've found your famous keywords, step number 1 in the model. So you know why media would talk about you. You've identified a few strong elements to put forward your story or your product. You've written your press release. You've identified the bloggers, the influencers you want to reach, the journalists that do talk about, let's say, your competitors, for example, and you found to whom you want to send your information. So you're ready, right? So you do send the information and you wait. So sometimes you might be very lucky and your timing is just incredible. Your story is linked to what's happening. Let's say we're still in the midst of this huge international pandemic, and you have created something special for your employees, or you have this amazing product that's really useful during pandemic. So media can call you back and say, hey, we love your story. We are very much interested by what you send us. But it's not happening all the time, right? So we need to find ways to catch their attention. So how do we do that? Normally, when we send a story information on a, let's say, something new that we are launching, let me give you an example. This is our 20th anniversary at the agency. We will be sending out information. We did already. And we know it's not, first of all, it will not interest just any media. We not just think, but we know that it will be interest what we call media of our industry, right? Marketing magazine, for example, PR publication or website that talk about what's happening in the PR world, other publications or website that talk about anything happening new in the communication world. So these are the magazines or the bloggers that we will be targeting. And there are not many in any country in the world. If you look at specialized magazines, there are not tons of magazines. Well, it depends maybe on the field, but normally it's always less anyway than what we call larger publications that talk to just about anyone. You know, if you think about any woman magazine, there are tons of magazines for women. There are a few less that talk about entrepreneur or marketing, right? So all this to say that when you have your story like this, then you can save some elements to follow up. So we might not put everything, all our juicy elements in this first email. We might keep a few elements just to follow up. So did you know, and did you see this email? We think this email would be of interest to you. We've seen you've written a story about another PR agency that turned a certain anniversary. but maybe you haven't seen in our press release that we talk about having triple the visibility of our clients during pandemic. So this is an element that you can put in the email. Or we target, let's say, hair publications, Salon magazine, or any other hair publications, like very specific magazine, because we have, and it's true, we've worked for hair companies for 20 years. So we could make a story, like adapt our 20th anniversary to tell this side of our 20th anniversary that we've, for the last 20 years, promote the hair industry, for example. So you see, these are just examples. And when you want to send a story, you have to keep some elements, or think like playing chess, actually. Think 1 or 2 story ahead. Keep some elements, or have 3 different stories that you plan to send at a certain space. You don't have to send these 3 stories like in the same week. Obviously, you wouldn't do that. You would let people breathe and make sure that they have the time to digest all the other emails they receive. But I can give you another example too. We did a campaign for a company that's producing PVC windows and doors. So when we first met, this is what I told them. This is a product that will interest some media, but how do we catch their attention? Why don't we plan 3 different stories on the same products? So our first story, so the first angle we chose was, did you know that PVC is really environmental? Did you know that PVC is environmental, I'm not going to say this word right, friendly? So they have a green aspect to PVC, so that was catchy. And they have a very long-lasting life, so they can last for almost ever. Actually, we don't really know when it will be disintegrated. But anyway, that was really interesting to have this angle put forward. The second story was about, did you know that you can use PVC window to create like amazing design? You can have now the color you want and order your windows in different shapes, different colors. And the third story was working with an expert, an architect, who was using these windows in almost all of his projects. So it was interesting to see the projects that he chose. And then we had also a spokesperson. So we knew before sending the first story that we would be telling 3 different stories. And so once we sent the first one about, did you know that PVC window can have a very green aspect? And then we were following up, let's say the week after, just saying, well, did you know that these windows last so and so? So we can also, even if you've put a lot of information in your first press release, you can then take a few that are really punchy and put them forward in your email just to try to attract the attention. And as you can imagine, some media respond to the first email, some bloggers to the second, and then some to the third, not because they weren't interested when you sent the first one. It just maybe, when they were, when you sent your email, they weren't ready to write about your product, or they might find it interesting, but put it aside. It's really hard to know what's happening on the other side, right? When you send some information. I always say and tell our clients when we start writing stories and we're ready to send an email, and you have to keep in mind that they're not expecting your email unless you're politicians, right? But if you are presenting a product or a service, they're not expecting you. Maybe they are working on something else, right? So this is why when you tell a story, make sure you have more than 1, at least 3, sometimes 6 different angles, or 6 different stories, 6 different emails. If you're able to have like a few months to really like work around and make sure that you go in every angles, every corners, then you'll be able to generate very good visibility. I can guarantee that. I was about to talk also about what we do actually. I compare this tactic, the ultimate tactic, to selling, right? So public relations is really close to selling, but it's soft sell. Obviously, we're not asked to generate direct sales, even if some clients want us to do that. This is not why we use PR. You use PR to get known, increase your visibility, be in front of your clients and consumers. Sometimes we're lucky. We more and more have a media that do online magazines. They will talk about your product. They want to have a link, like a clickable link that Google loves so much, so consumers can read about it and buy your product right away. But this is not how it's happening all the time. We also hear quite often at the agency clients that come to us and they say, well, we've tried PR. We're ready to try it again, but we did it on our own. We sent some press release and it's not really working. So reducing public relations to sending out press release is really not knowing what it is and how creative it can be and how fun it can be also to finding these fun angles to catch the attention of the media. But yeah, it happens. Or sometimes we meet clients that we think we can help them, and I contact them and say, well, we do it on our own and we do have coverage. But they don't understand how much more coverage we could get for them, because we know we have in our back pocket this ultimate tactic that I love so much. But let's say you send a press release and it's completely unnoticed and nobody's calling you back, or you have no emails, nobody's answering or responding to your proposal. It happens. Have you looked though at the title of your email? The famous object. Was it too long? Did you forget to put like the information that would have attracted their attention? Let me give you an example. We all receive so many emails, so we have like a few seconds. We read it probably like, that would be interesting to measure that, how much time we give when we scroll down our email, sometimes when we have like 50 or hundreds, right? But if there's a title that catch your attention, then there are good chances you're going to click on it, right? Or put it aside to read it a little later. So let's say you have this amazing serum, and it's a serum with vitamin C. And this is not a food product. This is a beauty product. So know that vitamin C is a very interesting ingredient. Beauty journalists want to discover new products, new efficient product about vitamin C. So if you don't put in your title, in your object, the title of your email, that you are sending a serum with vitamin C that's, better or different than any other vitamin C on the market, well, maybe you are missing the target just because of that, right? So you have to be extremely creative too, and just putting out there a title, thinking about what you will be writing to make sure that they will want to click on the email, read it, and, contact you. So the next step is really having also in your email the information that will generate the answer. They will answer you back. This is what you want, right? So it's clear that, a single mailing may not generate the expected result, right? So do not hesitate to schedule several mailings, at least 3. I recommend 3, sometimes 6. So it depends on the time you have. And using, a different subject line, for example, as I just mentioned. And this is where you can be extremely, extremely creative. So you need to find, these angles. Sometimes, it can be finding percentage of, as I just mentioned, it's our 20th anniversary and we triple the visibility of our clients during pandemic. Also finding ways to be very now, that you can link to a trend. I think if you read the newspaper for a week, then you will find, what they are looking for. Or if you're online, what people are talking about, what bloggers in your field are talking about. So this also helps, can be just that, another angle, another story. Voila. So you need to have this creativity. This is what I love about my job and my profession. Public relation is super creative. So the smarter we are at finding the good angle or the what would interest the press, this is where we can generate good results. And well, if the famous emails are not doing the trick, Don't forget, there's always the phone. And this is also something that can work and generate amazing results because so few people talk on the phone. And forget about, the younger generation. If you're in your 20s, I don't even know if you use the phone once a week, probably not even. But people are there and answer their phone. And we forget that most of us have a smartphone in our hands. But this was meant at the beginning to make calls, to speak to people, not just to write and text and send emails. So the phone can still be extremely useful. So I hope you've learned something today. And if you have any questions, you always know where to find me. Nata at natapr.com, natapr.com. Nata, Nata at natapr.com. And I hope you'll join us next week. Hey, you want to learn more about how to implement PR strategies? Head on to natapr.com and get on our list. You will also receive the Nata PR model on how to create a successful PR campaign. If you want to become a client, just send us an email to nata at natapr.com. Talk to you next week. À la semaine prochaine.